Disclaimer. What you are about to hear is my experience. I repeat, my experience. But for real, I ain't nobody's botanist or horticulturist, but what I do have is my own lived experience. So I'll be talking about just that, my experience.
What's up? We back, we black, we here, we queer, and we love houseplants. If you've been here before, thank you for coming back. If it's your first time, welcome. So today I'm going to be talking about 6 resources for any plant parent. Basically, I'll be giving you all of the places that I got the information that I have now since I started this journey.
Take 2.
Which is basically just pulling from all of the resources that I've used as I've been learning on my plant journey. Any other resources that I don't mention, please feel free to drop them in the comments section. That way we have a place that we can all come to. Not that this is the only place, but it can be a place that we can all come to get some information if we need. I've added timestamps if you're interested in only seeing specific things. All right, let's dive in. First up, we have books. The first book we have is How to Make a Plant Love You by Summer Rain Oaks. Woof. If you don't know who Summer Rain Oaks is, please do yourself a favor and look her up. It's not a how-to book, but instead what it is this beautiful way of showing or reminding us rather of our connection to nature and to each other. It has stories inside of it that are real stories from real people that tell about their journey with plants and what plants have done for them. So it's this beautiful, almost like spiritual approach to plants. Highly recommend this book. Next up, we have The New Plant Parent by Daryl Chang. This book is phenomenal. This was like my little plant Bible of sorts when I first got into taking care of plants. He is the reason that I swear by this. It's a light meter and it measures light. When I tell you I use this to measure light all the time, whether it's my grow lights, whether it's natural light. Now in the book, he also covers water and humidity and several other things. But I will say for me, the biggest thing I got out of this is using a light meter and understanding light. Daryl Chang does such a good job at explaining light, it's ridiculous. Daryl Chang is such a G. Next is How Not to Kill Your House Plants by Anne Prigozhin. I think that's how you say that. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't my favorite. And it made it feel like there was only one way to do this. And one thing that I truly believe about plant care, and as I'm learning, is there's multiple ways to do this thing. And so that part I was a bit turned off by. But not to say I didn't get any information out of it. Next up is What a Plant Knows by Daniel Chamovitz. Now this book is a deep dive into the science of plants. For me, it was a bit too sciencey. There was so much language in it that I wasn't familiar with. So I feel like if I went back now, maybe it would feel better. But back then it was really sciencey. So I didn't even finish the book. But what I read, it was pretty interesting. So I pulled this quick little summary off npr.org because I liked it and it did a good job of summing it up because I don't think I could sum it up really well. So it says, paralleling the human senses, the author explores the secret lives of various plants from the colors they see to whether or not they really like classical music to their ability to sense nearby danger. The next 2, Urban Jungle and How to Raise a Plant and Make It Love You Back. They had a lot of DIY projects in it for plants as well as some plant care tips. So it's kind of DIY / plant care. First up is Bloom and Grow Radio. First thing I want to say about this is Maria is a fantastic host. Maria does such a good job keeping this beginner friendly. She approaches it from the perspective of someone who knows little to nothing about plants. The questions that she asks as the interviewer really helps you gain this information from a beginner's point of view. Not that there aren't concepts in there that are a bit more advanced, but she does a really good job of always bringing it back to something that is easily digestible. Now there are almost 100 episodes of this, And it covers things like light, soil, rootology, terrariums, plant styling, genera-specific episodes like peperomia, monstera, pest control, understanding grow lights. There's just so much information. Eat your heart out. I'll put these next two together. On the Ledge podcast with Jane Perrone and Plant Daddy podcast with, I think, Matthew and Steven are the names. I would say both of those cover a range of levels. I would say it's beginner friendly through advanced concepts, at least in my opinion. And also always realize I'm speaking from my perspective of what is beginner friendly and what is advanced. Moving on to courses. First, Master Gardener Extension Program course. Now, I'd say take Master Gardener with a grain of salt. I wouldn't say you become a Master Gardener because, at least in Tennessee where I took this course, it was 3 months, meeting once a week for 3 hours. Now, I wouldn't say that makes you a Master Gardener. So I would say take that part with a grain of salt, but there was a lot of great information. So from my understanding, every state has this extension program. So I would say look up your state and see what the process is for you or when they're going on. Now, our class got cut short because of COVID-19, but they still gave us online information. The thing about this course is it's mostly focused on outdoor gardening, but there are so many things that I easily apply to houseplants. Now, one of the things that I really like about this is, one second, this whole big book of stuff. We got soil management, basic botany, loved this class. Plant diseases, introduction to entomology. This was so cool. Growing vegetables, designing the home landscape, and there were so many more. Love that I have that big book of information that anytime I want to refer back to it, I can. Next up, Houseplant Masterclass by Homestead Brooklyn / Summer Rain Oaks. Also mentioned Summer Rain earlier, and I'll mention Summer Rain again later. This Houseplant Masterclass that Summer Rain put together, insane. For me, it's enough of a deep dive that I get some basic botany without it feeling like I'm taking, a college course. I really do feel like her class would do well for anyone who's a beginner through advanced level. Cannot recommend this enough. Google. Now, Google can get you in trouble. I'm not gonna lie, Google can get you in trouble. I wouldn't say Google's the end all be all because anybody can get on Google and anybody can write information about a plant. For me, when it comes to Google, I have to play it smart. I tend to, say I'm looking up a specific plant. I tend to look at several different sources and sometimes just get an idea of where the similarities are and start there. So I think Google is something that you just got to be careful with. There can be so much great information. I've learned so much through Googling things, but I think it's just important to just note where it's coming from when it's Google. And maybe Google can be something that accompanies other things on this list. And now we have social media. I've used Instagram quite a bit. I've gone to people who I know to be more experienced growers, at least more experienced than me. And I feel comfortable asking them because I've, either it's something that they've wrote in their posts or it's seeing their plants that they've had for some time. Sometimes it's hearing about experienced growers through other growers that have had advice from these people. But IG has been a great source for me. When I do it, I try to do it in a respectful manner because the truth is someone is offering information that they have. And so for me, when I ask someone for their information and their knowledge, I always say, I give them an out, right? I go, hey, this is the question, but also just want to let you know if this is not something you want to do or answer, totally fine. I respect that. Give them an out, right? If I know I'm dealing with someone who is an experienced grower, then I will try to offer them compensation. Be like, hey, do you have a Venmo? Because if you are willing to answer this, I would like to send you some sort of compensation. Doesn't have to be some extravagant amount, but I think it's important to acknowledge someone's knowledge and effort to learn. So that's something that I always like to do. YouTube. The thing you're watching right now. I love YouTube just for a good unboxing or a good plant tour and all those other great things, but I also like to learn from people here on YouTube. Some people that I have learned from Summer Rain Oaks, Houseplant Journal, Melanin Planter, Legends of Monstera, Kaylee Ellen, Verde Alco, Celia DW, Epic Gardening, The Plants Meow, Peggy's Tropical Garden, Heart-Shaped Leaves, James Armstrong W, Jolene Foliage, Becca De La Plants, Not Dude, The Plant Channel, and Yoga and Plant with Rose. Last but certainly not least, and I would probably say one of the most important, if not the most important point, is experience. Our own lived experience. Now, what I'm learning on this plant journey is that I can read all the things, I can ask all the questions, I can get all the information, but it's really my own lived experience with these things that teaches me, I think, maybe the most, right? For me, if I can continue to observe and learn and try things on and maybe fail at it and try again, it's through that I really start to develop my own understanding for this whole process of growing plants. And sometimes it takes longer than I want it to, and sometimes I kill plants. Sometimes I have expensive lessons through plants. I think one of the coolest things about having plants is that we have to learn how to take care of something that can't speak back to us. Which is so cool. I think so cool. All right, that's it. Those are all the sources that I have used thus far on my journey. And like I said, these are not the only resources out there. So I am so open and would love it if anybody who's watching this that has other resources would please share them so we can all be able to learn from each other, because I am just one singular person on this journey, learning what I can, when I can, and doing the best that I can. So I'm always willing to learn from you guys. You know the deal. If you liked anything you heard, if you enjoyed just hanging out with me, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Something that is really important to me on this YouTube journey is connecting and having community. So if you want to just say hey, say hey. If you want to drop down some of your resources, please do that too. Either way, thank you so much for choosing to be here. I appreciate you taking the time. And until next time, bye.